bucka. Ha. You know the deal.
Let's look at another example that involves two unknowns. So here we're told a mother is 3 times as old as a daughter. 6 years ago, the mother's age was 6 times that of her daughter. How old are they? Well, again, the first question you're going to ask yourself is, if I could know one of these pieces of information, which one would I want to know? I would want to know the daughter's age, because if I knew the daughter's age, we could very quickly calculate what the mother's age is. So since it's the daughter's age that we would want to know first, that's the one we're going to assign the variable to. So we're going to say something like, let x represent the daughter's age. Well, the next question we ask ourselves is, what would be the easiest way then to calculate the mother's age? Well, we're told that the mother is 3 times as old as the daughter. So if we knew what the daughter's age was, we would multiply that times 3 and calculate what the mother's age is. So we don't know what the daughter's age is, but we've chosen the daughter's age to be x. Well, what do we have to do that to calculate the mother's age? We have to multiply it by 3. So we would write something like, therefore, 3 times x, or 3x, represents the mother's age. Now once again here, we're given 2 pieces of information. The first piece of information we used to come up with our let and therefore statement. So we're going to use the next piece of information to come up with our equation. Now the first thing we'll notice here is we're talking about their age 6 years ago. So the first thing we have to do is we have to rewrite these expressions so that they represent their age 6 years ago. X is the daughter's age right now. Well, what would we have to do to that to calculate her age 6 years ago? We'd have to subtract 6 from her age. So her age right now is x, which means her age 6 years ago is x minus 6. Similarly, the mother's age right now is 3 times x. Her age 6 years ago, if we wanted to calculate that, we would have to subtract 6 from her age. So her age 6 years ago is 3x minus. Well, what we're told is that the mother's age, which we have here, is 6 times the daughter's age, which we have here. So we need to write this in an equation. We need to relate these 2 values to each other. We have to ask ourselves, well, what would we have to do to the daughter's age to make it the same as the mother's age? We have to multiply it by 6. 6 times the daughter's age is the same as the mother's age. So now we have an equation that we can solve. The first thing we're going to do is distribute this 6 into the brackets. So 6 times x we would write as 6x. 6 times minus 6 is minus 36. On the right hand side we have nothing to simplify, so we just leave that as 3x minus 6. The next thing we're going to do is bring all of our number terms to one side and all of our letter terms to another side. So if we bring this 3x over to the other side, it's positive 3x on the right side, so it becomes minus 3x on the left side. If we bring this minus 36 over to the right side, it becomes positive 36. Now what we have to be careful of is this minus 6 is still minus 6. We brought the minus 36 over to the other side, so it becomes plus 36. Now we have a little bit of simplifying we can do. 6x minus 3x is 3x. Negative 6 plus 36 is 30. We now go about isolating the variable. To get rid of times 3, we divide by 3. So that's what we do to the other side. These 3's cancel each other out, essentially make 1x. 1x is the same as x. And 30 divided by 3 is 10. So what does that tell us? Well, if you recall, x represented the daughter's age right now. So right now, the daughter is 10 years old. How old is the mother? Well, the mother is 3 times as old as the daughter. So the mother is 3 times 10. The mother is 30 years old. Now we can check to see this relationship 6 years ago. Well, if the daughter is 10 now, 6 years ago, she'd be 4. If the mother is 30 now, 6 years ago, she'd be 24. And we're told that the mother's age was 6 times the daughter's age. Well, 4 times 6 is 24. So again, we've met both the criteria. The mother is 3 times as old as the daughter. The mother is 30, the daughter is 10. And 6 years ago, if we multiplied the daughter's age times 6, it was the same as the mother's age. So here's a question that you can try now. The question says, a father is now 3 times as old as his son. That's one piece of information we're given. The other piece of information we're given is that 8 years ago, the father was 5 times as old as his son. And then the question is, how old are they now? Go ahead and pause the video, come up with your let and therefore statement, write your equation, solve your equation, and then answer the question. And then you can press play to see the solution. So hopefully the first question you asked yourself here is, well, if I could know one of these pieces of information, which one would I want to know? And I'd want to know how old the son is. If I knew how old the son is, I could easily calculate how old the father is by multiplying that age times 3. So that's the value that I'm going to assign the variable to. So we would write something like, let x represent the son's age. And then hopefully the next question you asked yourself is, well, what would be the easiest way to calculate the father's age if we knew the son's age? We're told that the father is 3 times as old as the son. So if we knew the son's age, we would multiply that by 3 to calculate the father's age. We don't know the son's age, but we called it x. To calculate the father's age, we multiply 3 times the son's age. So in other words, the father's age is 3 times x. So we would write something like, therefore the father's age is 3x. Our next step was to come up with the equation. To write the equation, we're going to use this piece of information. And this piece of information is talking about 8 years ago. X is the son's age, but x is the son's age right now. To calculate the son's age 8 years ago, we would have to subtract 8 from his age right now. Similarly, 3x is the father's age right now. To calculate the father's age 8 years ago, we would again have to subtract 8 from his age right now. His age right now is 3x, so we would have to subtract 8 from 3. So now we have expressions for their age 8 years ago. Now we have to look at the mathematical relationship between these ages and write an equation. Well, what are we told? We're told that the father is 5 times as old as the son. So the question is, well, what would we have to do to the son's age to make it the same as the father's age? And we'd have to multiply it times 5. So we take the son's age 8 years ago and multiply it times 5, and it should be the same as the father's age 8 years ago. Now we've got our equation that we can go ahead and solve. So we distribute our 5 into the brackets here. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times minus 8 is minus 40. We're again going to bring all our x terms to one side of the equation and all our numbers to the other side of the equation. So when we bring that 3x over to the left side, it becomes minus 3x. It was positive 3x on the right side. Again, we have to be careful in that this minus 8 has to stay as minus 8. The minus 40 that we bring over to the right-hand side becomes plus 40. We've got a little bit of simplifying here to do. 5x minus 3x is 2x. Negative 8 plus 40 is 32. Now all we have to do is isolate the variable. To get rid of times 2, we divide by 2. So that's what we do to the other side. Multiplying by 2 and dividing by 2 essentially cancels itself out. And 32 divided by 2 is 16. So what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that right now the son's age is 16. So we would want to write a statement, something along the lines of, therefore, the son is 16. And the next question we have to answer is, well, how old is the father? If the son is 16 years old, how do we calculate the father's age? Well, we're told that the father is 3 times as old as his son. So 3 times 16 is 48. So we write a statement, something along the lines of, therefore, the father is 48 years old. And how can we check to see if this is the right answer? Well, let's see if it meets the second criteria. And the second criteria is that 8 years ago, the father was 5 times as old as his son. Well, the son right now is 16 years old. So 8 years ago, he would have been 8 years old. The father is 48 years old right now. So 8 years ago, he would have been 40 years old. And what we're told is the father is 5 times as old as the son. 8 times 5 is 40. So we've met both of the criteria. Right now, the father is 3 times as old as the son. 8 years ago, the father was 5 times as old as the son. If that was the solution that you got, congratulations, you now have a firm understanding of how to solve equations with two unknowns.